I met him at a blues jam, like it's open mic kind of blues jam.
Yep.
All these players and stuff used to go to and hang out, and that's where I'd go and network. A lot of other people would go and network,
Oh, cool.
and got to be friends with their keyboard player at the time. And he, after Charlie passed away, and the pandemic happened, and I'd kind of left Nashville and came back to
Yep.
Virginia. Every so often, Brad would call me and say, "Hey, man, I've got a scheduling conflict. You want to come out and play with Artemis and the guys this weekend?" I'm like, "Sure, absolutely." A true producer is really, really, really good about getting the best out of other people.
Hi there, I'm April Paige, breaking down the what, when, where, and how creatives get their inspiration. I'm a big fan of the Cursey words, and I've been a creative for 30 plus years in marketing and fine art. This is where creatives unite to break down the facts of creative life. Buckle up, let's get lost in the world of creativity together.
And welcome everyone to Artist Antics with April, where we talk to creatives about creativity. And today I'm excited to sit down with Shannon Wickline, producer, composer, and performer. Welcome, Shannon.
Hey, how are you? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here. I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
Just a
thank you.
quick bio. Shannon is a versatile pianist, keyboardist, and based in southwestern Virginia with over 34 years in the music industry. He has built a multifaceted career that spans live performance, studio work, and music production. Born into a musical family, he started his musical journey at the age of 4, which I have questions about. Cutting his chops in church, he began experimenting with his mother's piano and teaching himself to play with basic chord book. At 15, he was performing in cover bands, writing and recording his own music. And in his professional touring career includes keyboardist for Charlie Daniels Band from 2011 to 2020. He has worked with the Bellamy Brothers, Kid Rock, Marshall Tucker, Travis Tritt, and more. And he's contributed to film and TV projects, including Songbirds, Life Changes Everything, Discover Zach Ryan, 74 feet, yeah, 94 feet, Hell on Wheels, and where he served as a composer and musician. He's currently with the Artimus Pyle Band, led by Artimus Pyle. Hopefully, I'm saying that
You're
correctly. The
saying that
last
perfect.
surviving member of Lynyrd Skynyrd. Also, have more questions. Proudly welcome Shannon as keyboardist in their lineup in June 2025. Oh my goodness!
That's a
So
mouthful.
it really is.
I
It's
got I
so
got tired reliving all that for a little bit.
yeah, no, it
Yeah.
was great. So what I want to do is I'm going to go through some questions about you as a musician, and then I'm going to ask you some things about being a producer and then a
Okay.
composer at the
Okay.
end.
All right.
Okay.
Sure.
So
Sure.
my first question, which I ask everybody, is where did your love of music start? Like the spark of music. It sounds like from your family, but I just love to hear that inspiration story.
It just I got bit by the bug, as you stated, really early in life. I started. It's just something. For some reason it was just a. I was just born. I was just born with it. It was just a
Yep.
language I could understand. For some reason, a rhythm. When I started off on drums, like you said, it for some reason it just made sense.
Mm.
And I just the more I dove into it, the more I wanted to learn. I just the more I learned, the more I wanted to learn. And and if you do the math, I was 4 years old and I just turned 51, and I'm still chasing. Just I still love it just as much today as I do then. So
Yeah, no, that's
uh,
beautiful. That's the way
so
I feel about
yeah,
art
it
as
just it
well.
just it it just I was born with the love for it. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm. And so you started out with drums. How long did that last?
Well, that lasted longer than it probably should have. If you were to ask my parents. No, I started off. How long did that last? All the way through high school. I played drums seriously all the way through high school, and then kind of got away from it. Started. I was really doing more on the piano and guitar and other stuff, and so I kind of just got away from playing drums more full time, and just really kind of became a full time piano player.
So, who were some of your favorite musical
Oh
influences, like, when you
gosh.
were younger? I know this is a very hard question. It's hard for me in art or music, actually. Who were some of your younger influences, and then what are some of your influences now?
The influences now really it's kind of really all come full circle.
Mm,
Um, as far as the influential stuff, I grew up around a lot of different types of music. I was exposed, of course, growing up in the South and, growing up where I grew up and stuff. Of course, I was exposed to, country music and gospel music. But then I started kind of branching out, listening to more like jazz and more like, I went from like listening to like Merle Haggard to Stevie Wonder,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
and
Yep.
then once and then I st- and then I went crazy over Michael Jackson and Prince, and especially Prince because of all the instruments and stuff that he played. So
Yeah,
that really intrigued me very much.
right.
So as far as influences, oh my God, well,
Too many.
way too many. I'll do it by instrument. On drums, now some of my favorites, my absolute favorites, Vinny Caliuta.
Oh, yeah.
He's my absolute favorite. I love. There's this guy on TikTok and Instagram, and I know I'm going to butcher his name, but it's Ernesto something, and he is absolutely unbelievable. Just all the
Mm,
dexterity and stuff that he does.
okay.
I wish I could think of his name, but just
Vinny
incredible.
was in the Toto, right? Am I thinking of that right? Vinny
I
was in.
He might have been. I really don't know.
Yeah.
But
Anyway.
on piano, God, I loved Billy Powell from Leonard Skynyrd. Oddly enough, it was a big influence on me. I love Bruce Hornsby. Um,
Mm,
I love
nice.
I loved Ray Charles before it was cool to love Ray Charles. Before the movie and all that stuff come out. But then I loved, on the countryside, I liked Pig Robbins. He was a kind of a famous Nashville piano player, and it's the list just goes on and on. There's just
Yeah,
I
no,
I, I pull inspiration from everybody.
that's
I,
awesome.
I steal from everybody.
Yeah. So I know, we met very long time ago
Mhm.
backstage at Charlie Daniels concert in Florida, but due to mutual friends. But tell us what it was like working with Charlie Daniels and the band at that time. Like, just whatever you want to share.
It was I say all the time, it was as amazing as you can imagine. I mean, it was unbelievable. Just getting to play the music with that level of players,
Mm,
just night after night after night after night. And I didn't realize I didn't really become a Charlie Daniels fan myself until I joined the band.
yeah,
Growing up, I heard, all my life, I heard, Devil Went Down to Georgia,
yeah, that's the one I
and
know.
and yeah, and then that's the one everybody knows, and then of course, Long Haired Country Boy, and
Yeah,
then there was a couple other ones like South's Gonna Do It Again and stuff, but I didn't really know like the deep, stuff. And
yeah.
once I joined the band, and well, actually, once for the interview, they sent me a live DVD, and how that went, they just said, well, listen, just there's like three or four songs, just learn these and
Wow.
come in and do a audition. And I was like, oh man, this is going to be awesome. And then and I think I was supposed to go in like on a Tuesday or Wednesday. And then Charlie himself called me and said, "Hey man, listen, I have a scheduling conflict. I got to do something out at the Ryman this week. Can you come in next week?" And I said, "Yes, sir, absolutely." So I made the decision in my mind right then. I got all this time. I'm gonna learn the
Right.
whole. I'm gonna learn the whole show.
Yeah.
And
Good for you.
I made the decision right then. I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it virtually impossible for them to say no to me. You know,
Yeah. No,
and
that's great.
so I did. But anyway, my overall point to that, just listening to some of that deep cut stuff. You get into like Caballo de Hablo and
Yep.
um,
I
Billy
was
the
really
Kid.
impressed with the whole concert. Like,
Uh, yeah,
all the
just
solos
brilliant
and
music and the band he
yeah.
had. My God,
Mm.
I was blown
Yeah,
away
you're right up there.
myself. I was just like, my
Yeah,
God, what have I stepped into? Good Lord.
right. So
So
how did they
it was
find you?
incredible.
How did they
Uh,
find you?
well, when I first came to Nashville back in the late 90s, early 2000s, one of the first people I ran into was a guy named Pat McDonald. I met him at a blues jam, like it's open mic kind of blues jam.
Yep.
All these players and stuff used to go to and hang out, and that's where I'd go and network. A lot of other people would go and network,
Oh, cool.
and so I met him there. Like I said, way like early 2000s, and as you tend to do with some people, you just kind of lose touch,
Yeah.
And then I was working at the time when his keyboard player Taz DiGregorio passed away from a car crash. At that time, I was working with an artist named James Otto, and we were kind of revamping, kind of doing a rebirth of his band and his sound and kind of stuff, and and just I was just really, really on that train, and hoping to can do something with that. And then some people started calling me when Taz was killed in the car wreck. So about a week or two later, just some friends started calling me, say, "Man, you ought to try out for that gig." And I'm just like, I don't want to be that guy. Just call up and say, "Hey,
Right.
I know this guy's
Yeah.
been there forever. Let me
Right.
jump in there."
Yeah.
So the way I wasn't really, honest to God, I wasn't looking for a gig. I was
Mm.
happy where I was. So I reached out to Pat, and it was kind of towards the end of the year, and we were kind of slowing down as a lot of artists tend to do. So I just sent him a message, I think on Facebook or something. I just said, "Hey man, I hadn't talked to you in years. I'm sure you guys have already found somebody, but if you haven't, if you need some help covering some dates, until you find the guy that you want, I'm happy to come in and help out. The guy I'm working with, he's kind of slowing down for the year, so honestly, I could use the work,
Right.
that kind of thing." And I said, "Here's my number." I said, "If nothing else, let's just catch up and maybe go get some sushi or something."
Yeah.
And so he called me later that day, and we talked a little bit. And he just said, "Well, we don't really have anybody, and would you be interested in?" He said, "Let me talk to Charlie before I make any kind of offers. But you want to
Right.
come in and try it out." And I'm like, "Yeah, of course."
Wow.
And then
Well, that's a lesson for everybody who's listening to us. You don't get what you don't ask for. Like you have to go out and get it.
you got to
That's
go
a
out and
good.
get it. And
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, network, 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 network.
Yep.
Meet as many people as you can.
And stay networked. That's
And
something I've.
yeah, and stay in touch. I mean, you can't. I mean, obviously, you can't stay in touch with every single person you come in contact with. But yeah, I mean, it's
Yep.
that's, you forge relationships along the way, and some of them I've had friends. My God, I've had some friends I've met in the music business I've had for 20, 25 years or more.
Yep.
You know,
No, that's
and
great. Yeah.
but
No, it's important because then when you have to keep it going. So when you need it, you don't have to start it all up again. It's already, primed, so to speak. Yeah.
absolutely.
So how did you get connected in the same vein? How did you get connected with Artemis and that band?
Well, through Charlie.
Okay.
When we Artemis, I think they opened a couple of shows. We did a couple of
Okay.
shows together, and that's how I met those guys, and got to be friends with their keyboard player at the time. And he, after Charlie passed away, and the pandemic happened, and I'd kind of left Nashville and came back to
Yep.
Virginia. Every so often, Brad would call me and say, "Hey, man, I've got a scheduling conflict. You want to come out and play with Artemis and the guys this weekend?" I'm like, "Sure, absolutely." And then
That's great.
so when he stepped down, they called me, and
Yeah,
and
because you
I,
were already doing it. Yep.
and I was out with the Bellamy's at the time, and which I love. I love David and Howard and all the guys in the band and
Yeah.
Stephanie. And but those guys, boy, they work a lot.
Yeah.
They do like
Road warriors.
they do
Yeah.
like 150, 160
Wow.
still. I mean, and these guys are, they're well. I think Howard just turned 78, 79.
Wow.
David's in his mid 70s. I mean, so those guys are still, and like globally, they're,
Yeah.
hammering it out. But anyway, I was on the road with those guys when I got the call from the Artemis
Cool.
guys, and they said, "Man, we can't compete with all those dates they're doing. I just want you to know
Yeah.
that." And I said, "Well, actually, that's enticing to me because I got other
Yeah.
stuff going on. I don't, as it
You
turns
don't want
out,
to be as busy.
I can't
Yeah.
really be, yeah, where I'm at in my life. I just can't be out here right that much anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this makes a lot of sense. And
That's awesome.
then so here we are.
So I know Brad was doing vocals for them. So are you
Oh, so
doing
you know
some
Brad?
vocals?
Okay, yeah.
Well, I did my research. So I don't know Brad.
Okay. I got you. I
But
got
I
you.
know he was doing vocals, so I was just curious if you're doing vocals now for them.
No. No, I'm happy to report
Okay.
no. They
I'm
got
just
somebody really good to cover that. They
okay, good.
yeah, they went out
Good.
and got Bo Bice,
Okay.
from season 4 of American Idol, and man, he just goes
Oh.
out there and night after night, man, he hammers it out. He sounds
Oh,
great.
awesome. That's great. That's great. I didn't know
So
that. I
yeah,
was
old
just curious if
Bo
you were doing
Bice. So
any of
yeah,
it.
no,
Yeah.
Bo covers all the vocal stuff, and he does great.
So I know it's, been just a couple of months since you've, been with them full time, I think, right? So,
Correct. Yeah.
how does it feel to play some of those iconic songs? I have to ask the question because, I grew up with it, you grew up with it. I just can't imagine how cool that is, what it feels to experience that with the band and also the crowd, the energy from the
You
crowd.
know, it's it's a different it's a whole different thing now because like playing in cover bands all my life. You know,
Mm.
you played Sweet Home Alabama, you played
Oh yeah.
Free Bird,
Yep.
played all that stuff. And then when you was out with Charlie, you play some of that stuff with them, and and then kind of not Ronnie's version, but kind of Johnny's, I guess, version, and I guess what was
Right.
more the Rosington College version. I've jammed with those guys too, but to I just to I had a moment the other night where I was just kind of playing, and it just dawned on me when he started playing. I'm like, that's the guy.
Right.
That's the guy that the
Right.
world has heard.
Yes, all our
How in
lives.
the world did I end up on stage with this man? I just like, my God. So it's like with Charlie. You just have a moment where it's like, good grief.
Yeah.
How?
Yeah,
you
no,
know,
you've definitely blessed. I'll give you that.
I'm incredibly blessed.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, I say it all the time. Boy, if I was any better, I'd be twins.
right. Yeah, yeah, you're doing good. So, for all the nerds out there, what are your go-to keyboard synth, sounds on stage and in the studio, whatever you want to share?
Well, for all the oh gosh, I could go deep into this. Well,
No.
for the live stuff, I'm a huge fan of the Nord keyboards.
Okay.
They got it down. Right now, for the last few years, I still play Nord stuff. I've got a couple of Nord organs that I use, and you see
Mhm.
that cabinet back there behind me. I run one of them through that. And matter of fact, I don't know if that was the one you might have saw. I don't know if that was
Scene?
that one or the other
Yeah,
one that you
the
saw when I
show.
was playing with Charlie. But
Yep.
so I like Nord, but I've been using Korg, uh, a Japanese company. I really like them.
Okay.
So I've been using that stuff for live in the studio. Oh man, uh, I'm a Spectrasonics guy,
Okay.
Omnisphere. I use Keyscape. It's the best piano. Uh, it sounds amazing. It's just they I wanted those guys so much because I was on that Omnisphere bandwagon. I was just like once I discovered, I was like, yeah, that's it. Those guys get
Right.
it.
Right.
And I just prayed. I'm like, please come out with some keyboard stuff. And finally, about 10 years later, my prayers were answered. They released
Oh, well, that's good.
Keyscape, and I use that on just about everything.
Great.
So
No,
so
that's
I use a heavy combination of a Nord. There's I have access at a studio I work at real close to here. It's called the Fainting Goat. I work out there a lot. They've got a Nord grand piano, so
hmm
I play that. It
awesome.
sounds phenomenal. So yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
Nord stuff, Omnisphere. Um,
Yeah. So I love asking this question. What's your favorite stage story to date? Like it can be funny, inspiring, memorable. Like what's your, if you had to pick one, what would be your favorite stage story?
man.
I know it's hard. It's like asking me who's my favorite fine
You
artist.
know,
Like
I want
too
there
much.
there's two that come to mind for very different reasons. And I'll tell
We'll
you
share
both.
them both. Share them
I'll
both.
share them. I'll share them both briefly. All right. So the fanboy in me. Every year Charlie did this big jam, and it was actually a military benefit. And he was a huge military supporter, and
Yep.
he raised a lot of funds for military survivors and stuff. But anyway, so we did this thing every year, and so one of the last years we did it with him, they brought out Don Was from California, big producer out there, and they brought all these amazing players, all these guys that you're just like, oh my God, you see this person, you're like, dude, you know how many records I've heard you on, you know? And he brought
Right.
in the best of the best, and on keys, I mean, no slouch either. He brought in Chuck Leavell, who I'm a massive fan of. He's one of my big, and I love Chuck Leavell. So getting to like be in a rehearsal space and actually getting to be on stage with that guy was just a
Wow.
thrill of a lifetime.
Super
And
cool.
he absolutely demonstrated why he is Chuck Leavell. I got to tell you, he's wonderful and just the nicest guy too.
Yeah, that
Uh,
helps.
so that's one. So my other, probably my favorite story, when I was with Charlie, we were up in Westbury, New York, and there's this at the theater there, and it's got one of those rotating stages, and I've got to find the picture somewhere. It's on my Instagram and Facebook stuff years ago somewhere. So anyway, so like maybe two or three songs in, there was this guy like maybe 4 or 5 rows up, just sitting there all by himself. Actually, he was like on the second row. That's right, because there were like beer cans lined all over the little
Okay.
stage there,
Yeah.
and he was just gone the entire show. So at one point, I jump off the stage with this guy, and I'm sitting next to this guy, and he kind of like wakes up just enough just to look up at me, and he just kind of lays his head right there on my shoulder. And then I had to get the emergency selfie. And
That's awesome.
yeah, so that one got posted, and I'm just like, if you show up drunk at a concert, man,
You might be in a picture.
you're
Yeah.
you're lucky I didn't have a makeup kit, man.
Or a Sharpie.
or something, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's
we get paid to entertain, but I swear to God,
yeah.
the audience is
Yeah.
that's where the real show is.
Amateurs. Amateurs. Anyway,
Oh yeah,
control your buzz, everyone.
right.
Um, okay, so I'm gonna switch to producer. So put your producer hat on.
Oh God.
So I have so many questions because, and forgive me if they sound ignorant because I know nothing about producing. I didn't even Google search anything, but I do have questions. So, first thing I want to know is what's the process to know an artist how do you begin, like, once you meet them in the studio to, like, warm things up? You just sit and conversate, or, how do you begin things, I guess is what I want to know.
Well, if it's if it's a client I haven't worked for before, I work with a lot of songwriters and stuff. But if it's somebody I hadn't worked for before, initially it's a phone conversation, I do a lot of Zoom calls like this, and we just kind of we have a conversation, just talk about really just where do you want to go with this? What are you trying to say?
Yeah.
And what do you realistically, what are you hoping to do with this? You know what I mean? I'm not the
Right.
guy that tells all these lies that it's going to be easy. All you got to do is this. I'm very
Yeah.
upfront. It's like it's extremely hard, and this
Right.
is this is not for the faint of heart. And you're going to hear a lot of no, 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 no. You're never going to make it. You're not blah 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 blah. You're not this. You're not that. You just got to
Right.
keep on. You got to just stay.
Keep going. Yep.
Believe in you. If you believe in you, don't listen to them. Don't listen to nobody
Yep.
else.
That's right.
And so
Same
that's
way
what.
with any art, I think. Yeah.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So
So is your philosophy like more hands-on with the arrangements, or are you
absolutely.
more
And
focused on the
I'm personally very careful about calling myself a producer. And I'm going to tell
okay.
you why. And here's
Okay.
why. A true producer is really, really, really good about getting the best out of other people. You know what I
Mm,
mean? Out of
yep.
everyone in that room, he knows or she knows every strength that person had, and that's why a lot of producers, they get some, once they get around some players that they like and they're comfortable with, they tend to work with them a lot. So they get to know them and kind of that. So I'm really good about pulling out the best in me. You know what I mean?
Mm, mhm.
Um, and I'm very hands-on in the fact that 9 times out of 10, I'm the one doing all of it. I'm doing all the music.
Oh,
I'm doing
I
all the
did not.
parts. I take advantage of the fact that I do play, several instruments,
Yeah.
so my philosophy is, it's all about the song. It's all about the artist. So,
Mm,
I don't have a big brick and mortar, so I don't have I don't really have hardly any overhead expense at all. So I
right.
try to keep my rates very competitive for these people so that they can put their energy into the
Yeah.
promotion and all the, social
Yeah.
media marketing and all that stuff where it really counts.
Yeah. So when
And
you're collaborating, and this is a question only because, I've sang in jam bands and worked with other bands myself. And who gets the final say in if you have like polar opposite opinions? Is it you, or do you work it out, or is it the
well,
artist? I'd love to hear that.
ultimately, it's I leave it up to them, you
Mm,
know, because my philosophy is this, you're paying
paying
me
for
to
your
do a
time.
job,
Yeah.
and my job is to,
Yep.
deliver the best that I can deliver so that you can, take that and shop it and do everything, so
It's up to them.
while my opinion, might differ from yours, you're the one paying the bill, so
Right. And you
you
can say,
win.
"This is what I think, but do what you want." Yeah, no, I totally
Absolutely,
get that. Yeah,
really, honest, truly, I haven't really
haven't
haven't
come
run
across
into
that.
that at
Well, that's
all.
good.
A
That's
lot
good.
of people, the people that I work with, I have a lot of repeat business, and I've got some people I've worked for, 10, 15, 20 plus years, or more.
Yeah,
So they kind of trust me, and they know that I know them and what they want.
right.
Um, so yeah. But
Yeah,
anytime I'm deal, and you always have that micromanager. I just let them do it. You know.
right.
So
Yeah, I was just curious how that worked out.
I just
So,
let them do it, and I say,
yeah,
well, hey, and a lot of and really, I I try, especially, as I get older now, I work with a lot of people, that are considerably younger than me.
Mm,
I'm 51. Some of these I'm working with are, 20, 30 or whatever, but some of them are older. But um, so the ones that are, especially a lot younger than me, I have to really put my ego aside.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because even though I know,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And the guy that I work with out at the studio at Fainting Goat, Willie, is excellent at this. He just kind of lets it ride out, and I kind of do the same, just let it ride out. And then once they kind of start to see, and because eventually they get overwhelmed,
Right.
that inexperience starts to kick in, and they're just like, and you can see the deer in the headlights,
Right.
and then that's when I'm kind of like, I'm here if
Okay.
you need me.
You're right.
What can how
I'm
can
here. You're
how can
paying
I
for
how
it.
can
Like,
I
how can I
I'm
help?
just like,
Yeah.
you've painted yourself into a corner here. How can I help? You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right. No,
And
that's true.
then
Gotta
so
give them
if you
room
kind
to hang
so I
themselves.
so you try a very loving, gentle approach,
Yeah. No, that's
and then once they see, then it's like, okay, well, why don't we try it? And I always try to say, well, that was a really good effort. That's a good idea. You gave it an effort. Why don't we try it this way?
yeah.
And
No,
then
that's great.
so
Awesome. So I recently watched a fascinating documentary on Netflix about Diane Warren, the songwriter. I don't
oh
know if you know
yeah.
who she is. She's written everything under the planet, it seems. And I want to ask you this question only because I watched that, and it sounds like they do, but I was just curious if songwriters are in the recording session and do they have any input?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, they absolutely have input. Now, the way I do this one of two ways. Most of the time, uh, a songwriter, I will have like I said, I'll have a video chat or something like this, and I'll work out an arrangement. Oftentimes I'll do that. Most times sometimes I just get a demo on the phone, a text or an
Mm.
email, and then so then I'll just upload that into my stuff. Um, but then I'm sorry, I got off track. April, what was that?
So
What
I
was
was
you?
just finding out if the songwriters have input in
Oh
the
yes,
recording
yeah, yeah, they
session.
absolutely have the input.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Okay.
I I check with them with every step of the process. So
Okay.
that's what I was trying to say. I do this one of two ways. Most of the time, I put the bulk of the music together. Believe it or not, I put it together here
Okay.
because the production setup that I have. I mean, it's a desktop production. I'm using a lot of
Right.
virtual instruments. Being a drummer, I play the drums on the keyboard. I don't
Right.
program them. I don't drag and drop any kind of loops or stuff. I play them. I'm a drummer playing on a piano. you know, and
Yep.
then so I put the bulk of that together here, and then I'll send that. If I'm working here locally, I'll send that to my friend Willie at the Fainting Goat, and go out there, and then most times I'll meet with the songwriter there, and
Okay.
then we'll finish it, and then they'll
Okay.
put their vocals on.
Great.
Um, or
Awesome.
I'll just go to that studio and just start the process right there
I
from
see.
start to finish.
And so, uh, and this is just me not knowing anything. I assume you record each instrument separately, so you have control
Yes.
in the mix, right?
Oh,
Okay.
absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what happens when you get to like I know had parts in songs and things, harmonies where I've been high the whole time and then I go low and then I go high again. Um and some things give me problems, in certain songs. So how do you help artists get through those issues when you're in production like that? Like, sometimes I think it's like a mind block or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've
Most of
had
the
those where I'm just like, I can't get it out of my head the wrong way, you know?
most of the time, and I cannot accept credit for this trick. A lot of times you just, especially a singer.
Mm,
You know what I mean? If somebody like me that uses their hands, you know, if I'm doing background vocals and stuff, I'm always fidgeting with my hands. I don't know what to do. I'm like Ricky Bobby, and you know, I'm like I don't know what to do with my hands. You know what I mean? That
Yeah.
kind of thing. So it's it's from there. I'm sorry, I got off track again. At the Ricky Bobby thing threw me. I'm
No,
sorry.
sorry. It's just, when artists have issues, like it's
Oh yeah,
stuck,
yeah, 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 yeah. So when
you
they
know.
get stuck, so often, so a lot of times it really is truly just a mental block. So
Okay.
and again, I can't accept credit for this trick. I'll go, you know, and they say, man, I get to that part, I still don't know what to do. I'm like, okay, well, this is what I want you to do. When you get to that part, I want you to just take your hand and just lift your hat. And that's it. That's all I want you to do. Ain't the microphone gonna pick it up? Nope. Just lift your hat. And just when you do that, okay. And they're like, why? I'm like, trust me. Just do it. It's gonna sound better. And then they do it, and they start thinking about that, and they just completely get out of their head,
Ah.
and they're like, I just did it. Like, well,
Yeah,
good,
but
do it. It's like, well,
now you
good,
gotta
do it,
redo that
do it
on stage
again. This
every
time, don't touch your hat, you know, or something. Or it's like when you get to that point, you know, lift your right leg.
time.
It just
Yeah.
something just to get them out of their head,
Head.
you know.
Yeah. I
And
turn I turn my paintings upside down when I get stuck like that.
hmm
Like, when I'm trying to get something and it just the same spot is not clicking, I'll be like,
oh
okay,
yeah,
I need to not think of it the way I'm seeing it right now. So I flip it upside down and paint it the way it looks upside down on
oh
my
wow,
reference material just to get out of my own head. And then I
gosh,
flip it
that's
back around and say, okay, there it is.
see
Like,
that just warped my mind when you said just turn it upside down, and yeah,
see it as an
that whole
object and not
yeah,
a
that is
person
so
or whatever. Yeah,
that's
it
why
helps.
that's why I like, you know, like what you and, you know, like visual artists and that's
Mhm.
so amazing to me. It's like, you know, we you know, for me it's like I guess I take it for granted. It's like, you know, we just take an idea and all of a sudden boom, it's a song. You know, it's
Right.
like you take nothing and all of a sudden, well, it's the same thing with like you take a blank canvas and all of a sudden it's like
Oh, yeah,
boom,
it's the
there's
most
this
daunting thing on
whole
the planet.
world.
I actually paint the whole thing first with just whatever, so it's not a blank white canvas anymore.
Yeah,
Because
that's
it's the
yeah.
most daunting thing in the world to have all the options, and, like, I tell people too that are fine artists, like, give yourself a restriction, like a color palette, or you can paint with anything except a paintbrush or stuff like
Oh
that.
wow.
So you kind of challenge yourself into doing something else. And that
Take you out of your
helps to
comfort
get
level.
them out of their rut if they have a creative rut. Anyway, okay,
Yeah.
let's move on to composing because this is a perfect segue. So, where do you get your inspiration for songs when you write them? How does that come? Where do you think it comes from? And I love asking that question because everybody tells me something different.
This is going to sound like such a cliche answer, but it is the honest to God truth. Honest to
Okay.
God's truth. I get inspiration from everywhere.
Oh, yeah, I do
I mean,
too.
from
That's
everywhere.
what I say too.
Seriously, I mean, and it just and the composing, and again, the composing is more, I guess, more towards going towards the songwriting. Um, you know, more it's I guess it's different working with songwriters than if somebody says, hey, I want you to do a, you know, a music bed idea for this is this, you know, and that's the thing about, you know, TV stuff. They're very vague. You know,
Yeah.
it's like you have to guess. It's weird, but um,
Yep.
so
No, that's
yeah.
great. That's great. Do you do you record stuff on your phone? Like when you get an idea in the middle of the night, like how does that work? What do
What
you
I
use
do,
for instruction?
I keep this setup turned on all the time,
Oh,
and unless I'm away from home, this is always on. My computer is always on. All I got to do is come down, hit the mouse, and it wakes up.
right.
Um, and then I just open up my DAW, my, you know,
And then
my
yeah.
I use Studio One, and I
Yep.
open that up, and it just, you know, comes on pretty instantly, and I've got templates set up so I can just, you know, start working
Yep.
instantly. And
Yeah, I know I have a whole notebook of painting series that I will never complete in my lifetime. So I have to like trickle up like what's priority for me because I have so many ideas all the time for series of paintings. How do you manage songs like that? Do you just keep creating all the time, or do you have like a specific time where you create just to
Mm,
have them when you need them, or how does that work? Is it just project generated?
It's just really more anymore. It's really more project generated. Uh,
Okay.
yeah. I was really trying to go more of the television film thing, but that's such a tough nut to crack. And my songwriters, I didn't want to abandon them, and
Yeah.
they keep me pretty busy, and so I tend to go kind of it's just kind of gravitated more towards that, working more towards them
Yeah.
with.
And so what collaborations have you had in songwriting? Like what are some of the ones that are memorable stories or one or two that you want to
I
share?
tell you, this is the ultimate vindication for me.
Uh-oh.
Doing no, I'm going to brag just a little bit, but I'm not bragging necessarily on me. I'm just bragging on the process.
Yep.
When years and years ago when I went to Nashville, I'll give you a little brief story. My father was a songwriter, and so he wrote a lot of country and western stuff. So I would put his songs together for him, but he was a pedal steel guitar player, and he also played fiddle a little bit. So I would put all the other parts down, and then he would play his stuff, and then add his vocals. But we were doing all this on cassette tapes. It was way different back then. So yeah, I didn't have all the stuff I've got now, but so
Yeah.
that's kind of how all that started. So that began at a pretty early age too. I started doing that was like I think I started doing some of his first material at like when I was maybe 11 or 12.
Wow.
And then later in life I walked into a recording studio here and in southwestern Virginia, and I was hired to play piano and ended up playing bass, drums, and I think guitar and stuff. And some of the other guys couldn't show up, and I was like, "Well, no problem, I got you." And the guy was kind of like, "How's this kid saying he can play all this different stuff?" And I did. It wasn't really a braggadocious, so I could,
Right.
it was, oh, it needs to be done. Let's do it, no problem. And we
Right.
did, that
Exactly.
kind of
Yeah.
thing.
No, that's
So
cool.
I tell that story to say when I went to Nashville to be the multi instrumentalist that everybody was going to call.
Right.
I was going to change the game, man, because I was successful. I had proven it worked. I had a plan. It flopped.
As all of
so
our plans, I think God laughs at our plans, but go
so
ahead.
they was just like, yeah, no, we don't do it that way, and da, 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 da. I'm just like, well, I'm telling you, I'm trying to save these songwriters money. You guys are, you're not doing it right.
Right.
And so anyway, Charlie passes away, during the pandemic, and then so about that time, I came back to Virginia to back to my home in Roanoke. I started working with these songwriters here. We're a lot of different guys and girls too. So this one songwriter here, he's a cool guy. He does a lot of kind of the Jimmy Buffett kind of country, and he's
Mhm.
also a pastor. So he's really an interesting guy. His name's Percy Abel,
Okay.
and so I met him at the studio, and he just hired me to play piano, and then eventually that kind of morphed into me, kind of producing his tracks. And there's a market down in uh, I think down in the right around that Key West sort of area,
Yeah.
that kind of trop rock where that stuff's really big.
Yep. Yep.
We were cranking out like top tens, a couple of number
Oh,
ones for him.
cool. That's awesome.
He called me a few weeks ago and said, "Man, this one song we did just hit a chart number 4 in Australia."
Wow. Yeah.
So for me, my process works.
Yeah.
So
You
that's
proved it.
vindication. I
Yeah.
didn't make a dime off this
Right.
guy getting a number one, but I don't care
Right.
about that. It's
Right.
just, it's like, you know what? I'm a number one producer. There it is.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Well,
You
you
know,
should put that on your page. Oh,
and
that's
it's a,
sweet.
it's not like, by Nashville or LA standards, but I mean, those markets are, I mean,
Hey,
that's like
it's a win.
100,
It's a
it's close to
win.
100,000 people. I mean, so,
Yeah. No, that's great.
and and this was during the time, this was unbelievable. He actually beat Jimmy Buffett right around the time Jimmy Buffett passed away.
Oh, wow.
So that just speaks to his songs, not necessarily
Yeah.
me. It's just good songs, but
Yeah. No,
yeah,
that's great.
Percy Abel music. He's got some
Yeah.
fun stuff, and he's a
I'll have to
great
go
guy,
check it out.
and good guy, and like I said, he's a pastor also, and
Awesome.
just a good human being. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that's great. I will definitely check that out. So I asked this question of all my guests. And I've gotten the gamut of answers and I just find it very intriguing. So what do you think about AI now and where do you think it's going to go in the future? And what do you think about it in regards to creativity? Like, what are your thoughts?
My, my concern is not that it's going to take over, because I got I've had several conversations with some musician friends about the whole AI thing.
Mhm.
I I think it's a tool,
It is.
and
Yep.
if you utilize it
That's right.
as the tool that it's intended to be, it can be wonderful. Okay, now the point, I'll give you an example. A lot of the songwriters I work with, they're very limited. Some of them can't play pianos. One guy I work with, he doesn't play anything, but he
Okay.
somehow, by some miracle of God, he understands song structure. He understands
Okay.
it all. He can write a song.
Right.
So it's really good for people like that who are kind of limited in their abilities, but they're really trying to convey a message. I want it to sound like this. And so I've haven't personally messed around with it, but some of the demos I have gotten, the first time I received a demo AI, I called the producer and I'm just like, this is done. What are we doing? We're This is
We're finished.
incredible. He just
Yeah.
said, well, it's not real. I'm just like, what do you mean it's not real? He's like, it's AI. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm like, what about, I said, well, who is that guy singing? That guy's is incredible. He said, it's AI. It's not
Right.
real.
It's not even a person. Yeah.
Like, oh
No,
my
that's funny.
God. So I, you know, I, I'm kind of the opinion it's a shiny new toy.
Yeah. I
You
agree.
know,
I
I,
agree, and I think it's good for starting somewhere, and
yeah,
fine art is
I think
definitely
it's good. It's a good, I don't want to say teaching, but it's, I don't know. It is. It's kind of good to help you get going. I just
Yep.
really hope. My concern is people are going to rely on it too much.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Um,
yeah, I think
but
everybody.
I'm not really too worried about that. I mean, because I see a lot of videos where a lot of young people are just ripping it on whatever instrument they're playing. So thank God these kids are picking up instruments and they are playing their
Yes.
butts off. And it's just like, thank God. Because, boy, there for a while, I was just like, man, I don't know where music's going, man. You know? So
Yeah,
it's refreshing. So I don't really worry about it. I think
good.
it's cool. If I were a demo singer, I'd be concerned. I'll tell you
Yeah,
that because my
yeah.
God.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. So I came up with some quick fire questions. I'm
Oh
testing
boy.
this out on you,
All right.
and I don't want you to overthink it. It's just so you can be musically known. Some general questions, 10 questions, very short.
All right.
Just say what's on the top of your head. Don't think too much about it.
All right.
So, first question, Shannon. What was your first concert?
When I was like 15, I took a girl I was dating to see Michael Bolton.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh-huh.
that was my first
And
real concert.
what's your dream collaboration, living or dead?
Oh,
I know, it's a hard one.
oh man. Living, I would love to do something with Sting.
Oh, good one.
I love him. I just
Yeah,
Tim
he's
Sumner's
very jazzy.
Tales. If I'm
Yeah.
just Desert Island, that's one of my playlists. Dead.
Okay. Living or dead? You said living. You said one living. That's fine. So, what's the weirdest gig location you've played to date?
uh, I can't think of the name of the school, but I played at a high school. I played in a high school gymnasium with Charlie Mingus. And it was
Yeah.
funny because it was right after an awesome night at the Opry, and we were just all hyped up, and then we got there, and it's like, boy, this is humbling, man. You
Yes.
know?
So high and then so
Yeah,
low.
it's like, yeah, man, it's like, oh, this is what Kiss was talking about when they said it's all part of the rock and roll fantasy,
That's
man.
freaking funny.
Right here.
So, what is your go-to song to pump you up, like get a party started or for a workout? What's your go-to song?
Oh man. God. Funny enough, I don't really have
You don't
pump up
listen?
music. I really don't.
Okay.
Really anything, any kind of anything like old 70s funk. Like
Okay.
Sly and the Family Stone,
Well, there you go.
just some with some grease to it, Neville
Yeah,
Brothers,
yeah.
that stuff, that kind of stuff. That's what gets me
Headphones?
fired up.
Yeah, headphones or speakers?
Speakers.
And what are some of the artists on your current playlist?
Hmm. I've been digging on, boy, man, I've been digging on Alan Stone for a while.
Oh my god, I just listened to him today.
Uh,
I like his song Mystery.
oh man.
I love
I
that song. It's, like,
love
stuck in
his
my head.
arrangement of that Bob Marley song. Is This Love?
Yep.
Have you heard
Mhm.
that? Oh man,
Mhm. Yeah,
just
no, he's good.
gorgeous.
He's on my
Man,
Pandora
I've
for
been
sure.
I've been digging on him. Been digging on Zach Top, man. Bringing
Oh,
'90s country back, man.
awesome.
Good for you,
So
kid. You got my vote, man.
morning creativity or night creativity?
Either,
Okay.
really. I could go either one. Yeah.
And vinyl, cassette, CD, or streaming? I should have added 8-track, but nobody
Oh,
nobody
I
has
know what
8-track.
8-track. I remember 8-track. Oh God, vinyl. Yeah,
Vinyl, okay.
vinyl.
So if you weren't a musician, what do you think you'd be doing instead now?
Oh man, so many things. I'm interested in a lot of stuff. Really, I oddly enough, I do a lot of with my father-in-law. I've been doing a lot of farming.
Oh,
Not really like messing with cattle and stuff like. I guess I just more just working the land, I guess.
cool. That's
If
cool.
so, if I'd it'd be something physical. Like I'm kind of
Yeah,
a handy guy. I'd probably be doing like carpentry or something. I'd go back,
yeah,
I'd dabble with that. I'd
yeah.
probably be doing something like that, or
Cool.
yeah, just something like
Okay,
that.
last question. If you had, and I got this from the Stephen Colbert questionnaire. I don't know if you know his show, but
Oh yeah.
if you could only play one song for the rest of your life, it's not continuous, but if whenever you go to listen to music, it was only one song
Oh
that you could
man.
play. I know it's hard for me too. I don't know how I would answer that question, but what would it be, Shannon Wickline?
Golly, I don't know if I can name one. It all changes.
I know. I
Uh,
know.
for some reason here as of late, like when I sit down to play something, it's a toss up between Bruce Hornsby's Mandolin Rain
Oh,
and oddly enough, Tuesday's Gone. I don't know
okay.
why. Now neither one of those are. I don't know. I like them both. I don't know about for the rest of my life, but
they're stuck with you.
they're
Yeah.
right
No.
at the present time. Those two are stuck.
Yeah. No, that's great. Thank you so much for your time today.
Oh,
I
thank
really
you.
appreciate
I had a great
it.
time with you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was really fun. And I think according to the site that the Artemis tour dates start in August 22nd. So I'll put all of Shannon's information, all the connections, all the websites, everything in the description for everybody to go
Yeah.
to. So very cool. Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Thank you.
If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Feel free to nominate yourself or someone you know as our next guest. Thank you for being a part of our creative community. Stay inspired and keep shining bright.